Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And also want to give acknowledgement and salutations to all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity in the streets of Babylon. All right, so I just wanted to do a quick lesson on the chariots, the so-called UFOs. This is Shabai of GMS Denver. And, the prophecies are showing, things are speeding up. So, it's always good to bring out the chariots, The chariots are going to be the salvation. That's going to be what saves us from the destruction, the so-called UFOs. When you see the destruction come to Babylon, because right now we're at the beginning of sorrows, but when you see the destruction come to Babylon, you're gonna have faith as an elect to be taken up in a chariot in a so-called UFO, which is gonna be your salvation. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off in Psalms 104:3. This is one of my favorite verses because it proves that the so-called UFOs or the chariots, that Yahweh, he can make the clouds his chariots. All right. So there's parables and metaphors all over the Bible. And a parable for a so-called UFO is a chariot and also a cloud. All right. So Psalm 104:3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. All right. So showing you here in verse 3 that Yahweh can, first off, it says he lays the beams of his chambers. And what beams is that talking about? It's talking about the beams out of those so-called UFOs. And the chariot, the UFO, the clouds, it says who maketh the clouds his chariot. Just want to stress that, he can make a cloud his chariot. And, a lot of times you look up into the sky and you may see a cloud. It looks a little bit different than the rest of the clouds, and, it's probably a chariot, but not to be taken lightly. You when you're in this truth, you will be able to discern a chariot from a cloud. Okay, so let's go to 1 Thessalonians. I'm gonna go to 4:17. And it says, it's at the bottom. I'll start at 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Because we know that the men who have died in this truth, they are actually going to be risen first before the men who are alive in that day. And verse 17, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. All right, and Christians, they'll tell you, we're just going to be floating around in the clouds. But, they lack the understanding of this Bible. They don't understand, like I just brought out that precept that says the clouds are his chariots. He can make the cloud his chariot. That's what this is talking about, all right? In verse 17, it says, we'll be caught up together with them in the clouds, meaning the men who died in this truth, and with our brothers who are, have salvation, through the chariots. And we're going to meet the Lord in the air, who is going to be, he's coming back on a chariot. Just like he left in a chariot, he's coming back on a chariot. I'm also going to prove that in this lesson. So, these are comforting words, because at the end of the day, what in the world would you expect would save you from a nuclear destruction? Is there anything that you could think of when you really think about it? What is going to save you from a nuclear destruction besides a so-called UFO, which there are many sightings throughout history. There have been many documented sightings and many undocumented sightings of these so-called UFOs, which we know through the power and the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, are the chariots. The so-called UFOs are indeed chariots. All right. So let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, another one of my favorite verses, 5 and 2. Let's start at 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. All right, because the rest of the world, they don't make an account of our labors, which, when we're on the street, they don't come and, say, oh man, you guys are awesome. You guys, thank you for teaching me about the so-called UFOs. They don't tell you that, they make no account of our labors, And the righteous man, let's read it again. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. So we're being afflicted. We're not being, glorified or praised in the streets when we teach the word. So this is what this verse is talking about. It's talking about the chariots, Let me read on. Verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Because they are the people that don't believe this truth, when they see all those chariots in the sky, and they see Yahweh Shai coming back with great power and glory, they're going to be scared, man, with terrible fear. And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. And they're going to be amazed. Because they've always been taught that those are little green men, little green aliens. They haven't been taught the truth. They haven't been told that those are indeed the angels of Yahweh, the chariots of Yahweh. And it's going to be a strange thing to them, Our salvation, is going to be strange to them. So far beyond all that they look for. That's, you really... That goes without saying, so far beyond all that they look for. Meaning they're not expecting a so-called UFO to save the men of the Lord, to save the, 1/3 of the nation of Israel. So-called black man, so-called Native American man, and the so-called Latino man. All right? These people are not expecting a chariot to save us. It's so far beyond all that they look for. All right? Let's keep reading. Verse 3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of Yahweh, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. All right, because they're gonna be like, these dudes, these fucking niggers and spicks and wetbacks and fucking redskins. These dudes are gonna be taken up in UFOs. And it said, in verse 4, it says, we fools accounted his life for madness. They think we've gone mad. They think, even our families think we gone mad, They think we are they think we're crazy for teaching the Bible on the streets, When they see us on the street, matter of fact, we are a spectacle to them, you know. Let's go to go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. And I wanted to bring these verses out because, hey, we're seeing all of the prophecies in the beginning of sorrows happening. You know, martial law is basically already here. So, you know, the next thing is going to be the microchip, and the next thing is going to be the missiles, and the next thing is going to be the chariots, man. That's how it's all going to go down, man. We're telling you right now. Why? Because we are prophesying through the spirit of, you know, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem, through these words in the Bible. That's how we know what the future holds, you know. So verse 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. But okay, wait, let me start at 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. All right? So we're going to go up in that chariot, and we're going to be changed, man. We're going to lose these bodies, these weak bodies, these flesh bodies, you know, fleshly bodies that are weak. We're going to receive our heavenly body. And it says in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to be changed, man, in a moment. For the trumpet shall sound, all right? And we're going to go up in those chariots, man. We're going to, you know, we're going to get our heavenly bodies. You know, these weak flesh bodies that we have now, they can't withstand the speed of a chariot. You know, those chariots, you've seen them. You know, people talk about, oh, I saw it, and then it just shot up in the sky. This kind of body that we're in right now cannot take that, what do they call it, Mach force. You know, you would die if you had this body, and that's why we got to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. All right? Let's go to Mark 13 and 26. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. All right, so, you know, that's what it is, man. The Son of Man, Yahushai, is going to come in the clouds with great power and glory. You know, Christians will tell you he'll just be coming, you know, through the actual fluffy clouds in the sky. No, the clouds are his chariots. We just told you that, you know, in Psalm 104:3. Verse 27, and then he shall send his angels. Who are the angels? Who drives those chariots, those so-called UFOs? Those are the angels, man. What does the word angel mean? It means messenger. All right. Why does the chariot, the so-called UFO, just show up, you know, in random spots, random times? Why? Because they're reporting to Yahweh, man. They're the messengers. Why would they show up at you know, they had a sighting in Colorado Springs over here by Pikes Peak recently, and through the Spirit, you know, was doing a lesson about 3 weeks ago, and well, no, I wasn't doing a lesson. I was watching a Trump speech, Donald Trump, and he was talking about, you know, how the Space Force headquarters is in Colorado Springs. That's also where the Air Force is. And, you know, you can look it up. I think it was March 5th. You know, right now we're March 12th. So, you know, about 7 days ago, there was a sighting of a chariot right above Colorado Springs, and people got a good video of it, you know, so you can go watch that, you know. But it was a chariot, and what was it doing? It was it's a messenger. The word angel means messenger. So that chariot was, you know, keeping tabs on that Space Force. Why does Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, why do they have a Space Force? It's because he's preparing to have war in heaven with the chariots. You know, they know the prophecies, All right, these elite, you know, they know the prophecy. That's why they developed a space force. But Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, when they visit the earth, they're gonna fuck up the military of the so-called white man. All right, they're gonna take away his blessing that day, in the last day, because that's Esau Edom's blessing, is the sword, which is his war, right? His military. The Space Force is his last branch of the military, and it's not gonna stand a chance when Yahweh Shai and the angels, battle Esau Edom. Matter of fact, he's going to destroy him, the Bible says, in 1 hour. All right. As powerful and as, strong the military of the United States is, it does not stand a chance against Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem. All right. So there it is. Let's read it again. Mark 13:26. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And those are going to be chariots, not little fluffy clouds. And then shall he send his angels and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. All right. So now let's go to Luke and get an account out of Luke 21 and verse 27. It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And he spake to them a parable, behold the fig tree and all the trees. So he's giving you this parable of this fig tree, right? Because the fig tree, it's my understanding that it blossomed during the summer, right? So when you see those clouds, guess what? When you see those chariots, our redemption is near, man. And this is actually an uplifting video right now I'm doing. This is an encouraging lesson, all right? Because through all the hell we got to deal with in Esau's kingdom, through all the affliction that we get for teaching this word, we always got to remind ourselves that, hey, you're going to be taken up in a chariot, man, if you're an elect. And if you're a 1/3 who believes the prophets. So no matter how much bullshit we got to go through, how much pain or suffering or affliction or oppression, we have to go through under Esau Edom. Remember, man, at the end of the day, we got the victory. We got the victory, baby. Let's keep reading. Psalm 68 and verse 17. The chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. All right. And the reason why it says as in Sinai is because if you go and look at the account of Moses when he was given the law by Yahweh, it tells you that a cloud dwelt up over the Mount Sinai. All right. And what was that cloud? That was a chariot. Moses, believe it or not, the prophet Moses, received the laws, statutes, and commandments from Yahweh through a chariot. That's how Yahweh was dealing with him, Go read it, man. Now that you have this understanding of what a cloud is, and I read it. Psalms 104:3 tells you the clouds are his chariots. He can make a cloud his chariot, all right? So it's, we have the knowledge now, we have the understanding. Let's go to Jeremiah 4 and 13. Behold, he shall come up as clouds, and his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. All right, so That's dealing with his chariots again, man. You know, these wicked are going to get destroyed, starting out with the nation of Edom, the so-called white man. You know, his chariots are going to be as a whirlwind. You know, in the sky, man. Those chariots are going to be like just, you know, super fast, agile, and they're going to be bringing destruction to Babylon, America. All right. So you should fear those chariots. You should have a space force, Esau, Edom. You need it, but guess what? It's gonna fail you, man. I'm gonna keep reading. We're gonna go to the book of Nahum. All right. And this is not dealing with a horse and chariot. All right. The horse is just symbolic for power. That's why they got horsepower. You know, in cars. Doesn't mean it's a horse. No, it's horsepower, because these chariots are going to be powerful. What did we say? He comes in the clouds with power and great glory. So that's what that metaphor is, that parable, that with that when it says horse. Not talking about a horse and chariot. All right? And if you can't receive this truth, then hey, that ain't my problem. But if if Yahweh has lifted off the veil off your eyes and has allowed you to receive this truth, then hey, you know, you may be 1/3. You know, you may have salvation. Nahum 2, we'll go 3 and 4. The shield of his mighty men is made red, the valiant men are in scarlet, the chariots shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the fir trees shall be terribly shaken. Did we not just read about the fir trees in what was it, in Mark? Well, this is it, man. And does a regular chariot have a flaming torch? You know, a horse and chariot? No, this let's read it again. And I'm going to start at the middle. The chariot shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the fir tree shall be terribly shaken. No, the fucking horse and chariot don't have a flaming torch. Oh, we're talking about the so-called UFO chariot, man. We're talking about the chariots of Yahweh, all right? We read about it in Psalms. Says there's 20,000 and thousands of angels, all right? Verse 4, the chariots shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another in the broad ways, and they shall seem like torches. They shall run like the lightnings. All right, so how fast is lightning? I mean, you see lightning shoot from one, area of the sky to another area of the sky, and it's just like boom. You see that in a moment, a flash of lightning. Well, can a regular horse and chariot move like that? No, but you have seen accounts of the so-called UFOs move like lightning, where people will even tell you, oh man, it was right here in the sky, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just shot right up like lightning. All right. So we're talking about so-called UFOs. We're not talking about no damn horse and chariot, all right? Let's go to Daniel 7 and 13. And by the way, the men of this truth, we've seen chariots, I know I had never seen a so-called UFO, but then lo and behold, and you can believe me or not believe me, it don't really matter, but I started learning this truth in 2015, and I think the first time I ever saw a chariot was in probably around 2016, and I've seen a chariot 5 times since then, and I had never ever seen a so-called UFO prior to studying and being diligent in this truth. This is Daniel 7 and 13. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. All right? So the Son of Man came with clouds, all right, meaning chariots. All right, let me go back to let's go to Joel real quick. And you non-believers, you skeptics out there, you're going to be, oh, this ain't talking about no UFOs. Well, you just wait. We already read it in Wisdom of Solomon. It said, so far beyond all that you look for. All right. So Joel 2:2. A day of darkness and of gloomliness, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. All right, dealing with those UFOs, man. The day of wrath is going to be a day of darkness and gloominess. And yeah, you are going to see clouds in the sky, real like regular clouds, but you're also going to see them chariots, which is this parable for these clouds that are the chariots. Because, hey, it's going to be a day of darkness for the wicked, starting out with the so-called white man, Esau Edom, for teaching all his lies, for oppressing the people of Yahweh, who are the Israelites, you know. It's going to be a dark, dark day for Esau Edom, you know. All these fucking Edomites, they're gonna be scared, man. I mean, we read it in Wisdom of Solomon. They're gonna be terrified with fear. You know, they're not gonna believe their eyes. They're gonna see so-called Negroes, Latinos, and so-called Native Americans getting taken up in UFOs. Do you have that kind of faith, man? Do you believe that? You know, that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. All right. Just like all these plagues coming through, you know, coronavirus, earthquakes, pestilence, hunger, famine. You're going to see all that stuff come. You know, microchips, missiles. Then you're going to see these chariots, man. And you guys, you know, people will start to ask questions about this truth when their lives are affected by all of these plagues, which, you know, hey, they already shut down the NBA. You know, they're shutting down all kind of other different, you know, things are being canceled, and people are being paid, given paid leave of absence for, you know, this pestilence, this coronavirus. Wait till this shit picks up, man. Wait till it picks up. Then you're going to have people, you know, oh shit, what does the Bible say about this? What does the Bible say? But guess what? There's also going to be a famine of the word, meaning people are going to look for this truth and look for this understanding, and prophets ain't going to be in the streets no more. We're not going to be on YouTube teaching. You know, that's why they compare it to the 10 virgins, right? The 5 who were diligent, the 5 wise ones, and the 5 foolish ones who didn't collect their oil, their wisdom. No, they were left in the dark. Because they didn't have no light, man. They didn't have no wisdom because they didn't do this early. The prophets, the men, were doing this early. We're teaching this truth early, before all this stuff happens. You know, let's go to Acts real quick. Acts 1:11, and it says, this is because Yahushua, he left on a chariot and he's coming back on a chariot, like we already read. This is Acts verse 1:11, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. All right, so just the same way, well, I'm sorry, I should have started at 9. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. So what is that cloud that received our Lord and Savior, Yahushua? It was the so-called UFO. A cloud received him out of their sight. You think just a fluffy cloud's going to just take Yahushua up and he's going to be disappear into thin air? No, he left in a chariot, man. A so-called UFO took the Messiah up and received him out of their sight. Verse 10, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, who were angels, Their apparel, white is symbolic for pure, sanctified, you know, non-polluted. All right, that's what that white apparel is symbolic for. 11, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. He's coming the same way he left, on a chariot, man. And these men were looking up at the sky, and these angels were like, hey, what's the big deal, man? He's going to come the same way he left, in a chariot. I mean, if you can't see this, and I brought out several precepts and verses to show you this truth, and if you can't see it, then the Lord has literally just blinded you. And he's reserved you for destruction, because the chariots are coming for two things. They're coming to destroy, and they're coming to save. They're going to destroy the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, and the 2/3 of Israel, who is wicked, who loves the so-called white man and doesn't want to, he wants to be part of his military. I'm talking about you Israelites. You want to be part of his military. You want to be part of his churches. You want to be part of his communities. You want to marry his women. You want to marry his men, and you're going to be destroyed, man. You're wicked. How could you be righteous, being married to and being joined together, because that's what the word married means, with the wicked, who is Esau, Edom? It's common sense, man. All right, let me jump to Isaiah 47, and I'm gonna start at 3. This is dealing with okay, let's start at 1, all right? Because the daughter of Babylon is America, all right? Because remember, there was old Babylon, which Nebuchadnezzar was the king of. That's ancient Babylon. And then now there's the daughter of Babylon, which is America. All right, let's read it. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. All right, those Chaldeans are Edomites. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Yeah, because America is not going to be tender and delicate anymore when this destruction comes. 2, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. And what this is dealing with is through the spirit of the power of Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahushai B'Hashem, the holy prophets are revealing who this so-called white man is. We're making him, exposing him, meaning he's naked. That's what it's talking about right there. Uncover thy thigh, make bare the leg. Verse 3, the nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Because Yahushua is not going to meet you as a man. He already came as a man one time in Rome, and you guys killed him. And you 2/3 Israelites, you wicked Israelites, were chanting, yeah, kill Yahushua, kill Yahweh, crucify him. All right? This time he's not coming back as a man in the flesh. No, he's coming back with that heavenly body. All right? He's coming back like an angel. All right? And come back to destroy Esau, Edom, the same people who destroyed him, or I should say who crucified him in Rome. All right? Verse 4, as for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, and the Holy One of Israel. And who's the Lord of hosts? The Lord of hosts means Lord of armies. Sit thou silent, verse 5, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. And how do we know this is America? Because the place that the person this place was named after was Amerigo Vespucci, but they didn't call it United States of Amerigo. No, they went with the female gay route. They took the feminine route. The Lady of Kingdoms, America. All right. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Amerigo. All right. That's what it means, the Lady of Kingdoms. Verse 6, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily laid thy yoke. All right, because Yahweh, we got punished by Yahweh, us Israelites, and that's why it says he has polluted mine inheritance, and he give them unto thine hand, meaning we were given to the so-called white man, the Edomite, in slavery. He tried to genocide the Native Americans. He tried to destroy the Latinos. He brought, the so-called Negroes from Africa, what they call Africa, which is not Africa according to the scriptures, right? But anyway, let's read it again. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Meaning Yahweh, the reason why we're under bondage, under slavery, under the so-called white man is because Yahweh gave us to the so-called white man. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. All right? Because you so-called white people, you guys ain't trying to give Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, or I should say Latinos, so-called Native Americans, so-called Negroes. You guys aren't trying to give us no reparations or trying to make our lives better. You guys lie. Donald Trump gets up there and acts like, Latinos and Negroes and you guys' unemployment rate has went up and blah, 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 blah. No, man, we're still at the bottom of society, man. You don't believe me? Just go to all these uppity neighborhoods, these rich neighborhoods. You have one or two sprinkled Israelites, but the rest of you is fucking Edom. All right? Verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Because you Edomites are proud, man. And Yahushua is going to fuck you up with these chariots. All right? These chariots are your enemy. That's why you don't want to report what it is. You gonna say that these are satellites. You gonna say these are aliens, green men, Verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for thy great abundance of thy enchantments. All right? Because fucking Esau, man, you've put all kind of sorceries and enchantments on our people. And you're going to pay, man, in the day of wrath. We don't have to do nothing, man. The chariots is going to do all the work, and Yahushua is going to be leading that charge. Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, and thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Evil means bad times. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. All right? So your desolation, your America is going to become upon you in one day, and evil, meaning bad times, is going to come upon you. You Edomites have a lot of evil to come upon you. All right, meaning you Edomites are going to deal with bad times. And let's go into what's going to bring you bad times. We already kind of been reading it. So Isaiah 66 and 15, it says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Because those chariots are going to be shooting flames at you, Esau. That's why you got your Space Force, man. He's going to fuck you up. Yahushua and the chariots are going to fuck you up. Verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. Because some of you Israelites are going to get killed in that fire too. Not only that, it's going to be the missiles too. All right. And the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right. So there it is. The slain of the Lord shall be many. And what is going to be that? What is going to be that destruction? It's going to be the fucking missiles, the fucking plagues, like this coronavirus, the fucking microchip. We don't even want to get in on the Leviathan. You people you can't believe the chariots which people have seen, let alone the Leviathan, which is going to help with destruction. He's going to come from the depths of the ocean. All right, the Leviathan is a fucking dragon, and there's all kind of different Leviathan species, But that's a whole different lesson. But anyway, there's going to be lots of destruction, and the Lord is going to put the spirit on you Edomites to send missiles to each other across this intercontinental, what do they call them? Intercontinental missiles. So there's going to be all kind of destruction, man. There's going to be the microchip, the pestilence, all kind of different plagues. And those UFOs, so-called UFOs, those chariots are going to be a plague to you, Esau. And they are going to be a blessing unto the righteous. The so-called chariots are going to take us up. And we read it. I read it to you in 3 or 4 or 5 verses. But that's what it is, man. The clouds, the chariots, they're going to come like a whirlwind. They're going to destroy and they're going to save. All right? But with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, HaRakakadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all of the Akim who are pushing this truth in the streets of Babylon with sincerity. Shalom to the elect.